Top Nigerian businessmen and government officials have been speaking on the outcome of the Nigeria-Saudi Arabia Roundtable Investment Meeting in Riyadh to court potential investors into the country. President Bola Tinubu at the meeting said Nigeria should be the anchor for Saudi Arabia's investments in Africa while promising to tackle corruption and enhance a free market economy.
The members of the Nigerian delegation include governors, ministers, and captains of industry who say Nigeria remains a viable investment destination for Saudi investors.
Nigeria has actually been a country that has been digitalizing. So when you think about it very well, we're already using technology in government extensively. But we also have the backbone to do much more with it. So what we've done is we've invested in silos. We've not connected the silos. But we also have internet that has been becoming a lot more ubiquitous, right? It's not affordable, but it's becoming a lot more ubiquitous. More people have access to it. So if we can find a way to improve the quality of our internet, ensure that as the economy grows, more people can get access to it.
We have now a leader who not only is CU leading Nigeria, but is willing to mobilize the subcontinent in the West African region, which is chairs the ECOWAS, in a committed Democrat who understands the way the world works, who understands the way business think.
It's a rousing welcome for Nigeria. It was a great trip. The president led the charge, calling for investments for Nigeria as the chief marketing officer for Nigeria. And the people of Saudi gave a resounding welcome. Now the details is in the action.
I guess there could never be assurance more than that of Mr. President. He has made it clear that now it's a new government and that corruption is not going to happen in Nigeria again. So I think they've gotten that message. Now for us, the private enterprises, entrepreneurs, you find out that we've done some little investment, compared to what is here in Saudi. But that will give them hope that there are Nigerians that believe in their country.
Free market economy, free flow of currency and capital. Mr. President has spoken about that. He has spoken so eloquently about Nigerian opportunities and how these opportunities can be harnessed and be partnered with the Saudi Arabian economy.
We are grateful for this opportunity. We have been able to showcase Nigeria and Niger State in particular. Being the largest state in terms of land mass in the whole country, it means we are strategically positioned. We are not in the desert part of Nigeria. We are very, very arable. So Saudi Arabia wants collaboration in agriculture. Now Niger State serves as the state for the first pilot scheme because of our closeness to the FCT, bodies of water for irrigation.
I think we are just keying into the initiative of Mr. President by providing an enabling environment for investors to invest in our state, and especially that we have potentials in agriculture. And one of the vision of my administration is to enhance agriculture throughout the year round.
Well, we're now being joined from our Abuja studios by Arise Director of News and Politics Editor, Sumner Sambo. Great to have you on Newsday with us, Sumner. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hawa, and thank you everyone there.
Well, we gather that you were at this event as well, and a lot of great strides were made for Nigeria in terms of Saudi-Nigeria collaborations and investment. Can you bring us up to speed and give us a little bit more information as to how that went?
Well, it was a summit put together by the Saudis as part of their Vision 2030 program, which is a visionary idea by Mohammed bin Salman, who is the Crown Prince and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom. And the idea is to actually bring together African countries to help shore up support for Saudi Arabia and its quest to be the 15th largest global economy in 2030. Now, that vision began since 2016, and it's been going on. And you would understand that if you follow the politics of the Middle East, the UAE and Qatar have actually gone way beyond Saudi Arabia, which seems to have the largest economy in that axis. And so Saudi Arabia is actually waking up to the realities of the current global environment, that having oil is not just enough, as it had probably been depending on oil all this while. Now, the Saudi monarch is actually saying that the economy needs to move away from oil into renewable energy, into partnership, and then you will see that they're also delving into sports. I mean, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, there was a major global sports event in Riyadh. And so at the heart of this engagement with Africa is the decision to actually cut Africa's largest economy, Nigeria. And of course, you know that there's no how there can be an Africa-Saudi summit that Nigeria will not be on the table. And that's why you could see that the Saudi authorities actually made sure that they sent a very powerful delegation to these talks, the Nigeria-Saudi Investment Summit, right there in Riyadh, which had President Bola Tinubu in attendance with a lot of ministers to show that the Nigerian delegation is also not joking with it. And of course, there were lots of issues on the table as to the issues of cutting investors. Most of the investors said some of the challenges that they had encountered in the past while investing in Nigeria. And of course, President Bola Tinubu said that he was going to sit down with them all throughout the meeting, unlike previous times when you see former Nigerian heads of state in the past actually, you know, just delivering the opening speech and then just moving out. So he stayed with them up until the end. And of course, the Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Anite, was all there herself in moderating the session alongside the Saudi Minister of Investment. So it was a very powerful forum. And then, of course, prior to that, there had been some agreements that were signed, an MOU between Nigeria's Minister of Petroleum Resources with the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokbobri, and his counterpart in Saudi Arabia, signing an MOU where there will be an exchange in terms of strengthening our capacity in the oil and gas industry, in terms of cooperation, in terms of skilling up our personnel in the oil and gas industry, and then other areas of cooperation. And prior to then, President Bola Tinubu had met with the Crown Prince himself on the day of the opening of the Saudi Africa Summit, where the Crown Prince made pledges, and one of the critical pledges made is that the Saudi Aramco company, which is one of the world's largest national oil company that's independent and very profitable, will help Nigeria in its efforts to revamp the nation's 4 refineries through the turnaround maintenance that we've been having, with some of them set to come on stream from 2024. And another major win between President Bola Tinubu and the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is the issue of shoring up Nigeria's liquidity. So we've been having some shortfalls in our forex, and then of course the Saudi Arabian government is saying that they are going to provide some sort of support in terms of funds to shore up our forex liquidity so that we are able to meet our international obligation and so as to prevent the naira from falling. So big wins for both countries, and of course Nigeria is also promising to help Saudi Arabia to shore up its influence across the continent, and then of course some of the Nigerian investors were willing to actually invest in the Saudi economy, people like Aliko Dangote too.
Well, and of course, we know that the Niger State Governor, Umar Bako, said that Saudi Arabian investors have expressed interest in investing in agriculture and dualization of the Mina-Bida Road project. I'm just wondering what other economic benefits we can expect following this summit, and is it likely to spread around the country, or is it going to be domiciled, more of their investment, will it be domiciled more in the north?
No, not necessarily. I mean, these are investors who are willing to put their monies where they know that they will have profits, and so it could be in the north or south or any other part of the country. And so we've seen other governors, including Bauchi Governor, Governor Bala Mohammed, who actually quoted some of these investors by saying that, look, they have lots of arable land, Bauchi has become peaceful in recent time, and that there are efforts to plug into some of the key projects of the federal government at the moment to ensure that the nation's agricultural sector is revamped. Don't forget, he's of the opposition People's Democratic Party, and he happens to be the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. So he says, look, politics apart, we're all looking for how we can get investments too, tap into some of the investments being knocked off right here. And of course, you also had the Katsina State Governor who was there, and then of course other persons. Now, some of the agreements signed here are such that it could actually help to create jobs. Because with our population having over 200 million Nigerians, and then of course with more than 50% being young populations, and of course with some of the development indices being poor in different parts of the country, the idea is that if we could actually strengthen the capacity to have investors that trust us, they could bring billions of dollars into the economy, and then we also grant them guarantees. And so President Bola Tinubu was very quick in intervening when some of the investors outlined their worries. One of them is the issues of capital repatriation. So if we bring our monies and we want to take our profits in forex dollars, for example, what do we do? Will you grant us the opportunity? And President Tinubu was very quick to say, look, I'm going to do that. Unlike before that we've had issues, especially there was this gentleman from an aviation company called Flynas, who is the chairman and founder of that company. And he had said that, look, they make regional operations and all of that, and they also do some shuttling, helping to fly in fresh fruits and all of that in and out of Nigeria. That what will not happen if their investments get stuck in one way or the other. And President Tinubu was very quick to say, look, this time around, the buck stops on my table. I'm going to set up a desk to connect with you. Whatever had happened in the past had happened, but this time around, I'm eager to actually create jobs for Nigerians, and we actually need your Saudi money in our economy. So he has said that the issues of red tapeism and other forms of bureaucracy will be tackled. And he actually asked his ministers, who were all seated there, to ensure that no one stands against some of these things, because, I mean, he is there to actually deliver the yearnings of Nigerians. But of course, don't forget, these people too are watching, especially when President Tinubu said that the issues of corruption have been tackled and that they are guaranteed that corruption will not be a problem. They also mentioned the issues of service providers and some of the service sector, the services sector, saying that Nigeria's services sector is very poor in terms of infrastructure, in terms of ports, in terms of the airports. How do we ensure that these are all integrated to ensure that their investments don't get caught up in bad bureaucracy and all of that? And the federal government's delegation was very hands-on in telling them that this time around it's going to be business not as usual, and that they will get their profits. And then, of course, the issues of the security of their investment. If there's a security crisis, what happens to their investment? Well, there were assurances by the Nigerian delegation. But of course, we all wait to see when the Saudi dollars will start flowing. I mean, Saudi Arabian-led dollars, because they use riyals in their country, will start flowing into the Nigerian economy.
All right, and speaking of red tape and bureaucracy, I wonder if this was brought up. We recently heard that the over 200 passengers that flew for Hajj in Saudi Arabia were turned back. At least 100 or more were turned back. The Saudi government saying that the ones that were turned back had the wrong visas, even though they were allowed to take off from Lagos. I'm wondering if this was addressed and if this is an issue of concern at all.
Well, this had actually happened when President Tinubu had left Riyadh. He was in Jeddah and Mecca at the same time when all of this, he was in Mecca when this happened, while the incident actually happened in Jeddah. So Riyadh is in the middle of Saudi Arabia, while Jeddah is the port city that's close to the Red Sea. And then, of course, you have Mecca in between them. And so the issue had already occurred on Sunday evening when, of course, he was observing his personal pilgrimage, which is called Umrah there. And so that could not have been part of the discussions he had. But, of course, diplomatic officials took up the issues. Minister of Foreign Affairs, I mean, I met him on a flight, the same flight while we were coming back. And, of course, other officials that I spoke with said that they were very hands-on on the issues. And now there's what's called the airlines passenger pre-screening system, the apps system that is supposed to be visual. It's live before these two countries whenever an aircraft is loading from here and they are doing screening of passengers. And so when the passengers were boarding from Nigeria here, they would have seen all those things. And so we were very shocked why the Saudi authorities actually revoked these visas while they were on air. And of course, out of 264 passengers, 177 were actually sent back to Nigeria. And now, from Arise News investigation, we actually found out that there's what's called the business visitors visa. So that visa is a category of visa that's just meant for people who actually have something to do in Saudi Arabia, and they go there. You can go there one way, do your business for as long as you want, and then, of course, over time, you're expected to, as a responsible person, come back to your country. But the allegations here and there is that some Nigerians, right from the age of, in their 70s, 80s, are getting these visas through corrupt processes. And then some even younger persons, and when they go there, they don't have anything to do, and they don't have plans of coming back to Nigeria. So unfortunately for some of the passengers, because not all the 177 passengers that were sent back actually violated the terms of the BVVs, as it's called, visitor's visa. But unfortunately, because they were all holding the same category of visas, they had to be sent back. So some of the tour operators actually have been accused of fiddling with that visa category and all of that. And it's not only Nigeria, actually. We've got the likes of Sudan and other countries, poorer countries, as some of the authorities there told us, that are trying to actually abuse that process, and that it's a worldwide visa system that they use. It's not just for Africa or maybe Middle East. So, but we all wait to see, as the Federal Minister of, the Minister of Foreign Affairs says, they are also investigating what happened to the Nigerian citizens. And then, of course, the airline itself, Air Peace, of course, is under preview at the moment, if indeed it passed through the system. But I can tell you that if the airline itself did not fulfill that condition, it would have been difficult for it to lift all those passengers from the Aminu Kano International Airport to Jeddah. And this is not the first time that they've been doing that. And that system is live. The app system is live between both countries. So there's a lot of explanation that the Saudi authorities need to make to Nigeria. They had issued a statement yesterday saying that, look, in all of this that have happened, your citizens did not follow the procedures that are supposed to. But what are the procedures? What are the violations? Why did you allow some others to go? Well, Arise News investigation discovered that some people who had Umrah visas, work permits, and all of that were the ones who were allowed to go out of the 264 persons, while the 177 persons are those who have those business visitors visa.
Well, Arise Director of News and Politics Editor Sumner Sambo, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.